Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Thank you to Dave Schmandel again for Clubbing with Dave. We'll have the show podcasted for you guys tonight, tomorrow morning, Sunday. And you can visit golftalkradio.com and go to our podcast page and download that, or visit iTunes and you can get the app or download this show or past shows. We've got a big library of for you guys to take with you. So we were just talking a little bit about, before Clubbing with Dave, about the Ryder Cup, and Billy mentioned before we went to break about the do's and don'ts. I was just thinking, looking at, we've been talking about a little bit about the Ryder Cup and the players who made it and the captain's picks and things like that. I think the number one thing that probably happened to the USA, when you look at it, the picks that were made were living in the past picks when you really look at it. And I think Billy made mention of this early on. You could have had guys like a Xander Schauffele. You could have had some of these other younger guys.
I would have traded Xander for Mickelson any day.
Yeah, but we both,
and Tiger,
and all of us had our points. I mean, I was very against. Again, I have nothing against Mickelson. I was very against Mickelson being a player. And the reason was because the ebbs and flows of it. Was really, really, really struggling. Yeah. And I wasn't even sure Tiger would be picked, and I think the only reason he got picked was because of what he was doing just prior to that tournament. But like Billy mentioned, for him to play that much,
yeah.
If you're
also
really
to win that last tournament. I mean, that whole tournament must have been a huge emotional drain.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, and it was so cool to watch.
Oh my God,
it was great
to
to watch.
see those guys flood that 18th fairway.
Goosebumps. It was one of the coolest things in golf history.
Yeah.
And it was a history. I texted you. This is a history-making moment. So you can't take that away from him. I mean, Tiger's just not a team player, but it's also, I misspoke, and you like this, Nikki. So when I said that the captain's picks went 0-6, that was between Mickelson and Tiger, his 40-somethings, like you just mentioned.
Right.
Phil and Tiger went 0-6. Finau, it turned out to be a great pick.
Finau was a great pick.
No, Finau.
He played awesome.
And it's kind of funny because you hardly saw any of those guys. And was it Webb Simpson?
Oh yeah, I don't think I ever saw Webb play.
And he didn't say a word to any. I don't think I ever saw him hit a shot but one, maybe.
I saw a lot of Finau. They showed a lot of him.
Yeah, I heard. I didn't see I didn't watch all because I watched the tape stuff because it was in the middle of the night. But I'm up at Pebble. But it wasn't. It was 0-6 between Phil and Tiger. And Mike, I think you hit it on the head. But besides the spirit, and I just don't think we have a team spirit at all. And behind the scenes, there was a lot of ego going on and fighting and infighting, or I don't know what it was fighting, because I don't know they were fighting. But there was a lot of stress between.
Those were other players.
Yeah, Reed and Spieth have a feud going on.
Right.
Tiger and Phil have this thing going on. They both have egos, and they're both trying to be leaders, and one's respected, one's not, and there's a lot. So there was not a lot of happiness. And then the other team seems like they're all in love with each other.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best of way.
Exactly.
And they're best of friends. And Molinari, oh my God, what a stud he's become. And him and Fleetwood are now the legend team. They're like it's like Sergio and Seve. I mean, they're like this team. And by the way, Sergio, way to go, buddy.
I was just going to say.
Proud of you,
I mean, the thing that was so so cool that I saw yesterday was Sergio. Watching Sergio. Here's a guy who's had such a tough year. I mean, such a tough year, and they went and they got him. He's the winningest, most Ryder Cup player in history.
Retire that. He set this as he beat Faldo's point total. He could be all time.
Right.
Even who knows? But for a long while actually, because no one's even really close. That's so cool.
It is.
I mean, that was so cool. I've been a Sergio fan forever, so that was cool. And so that was one thing. I think the picks were a big mistake. That's my opinion. I just think the captain's picks were not on track, and it's easy to. What is that, Monday quarterbacking or whatever it's called?
Yeah. Monday morning quarterback.
But it's, but I thought that originally.
Right.
Except for Finau. I think Schauffele would have been a great pick.
Yeah, I do too. I would have loved to
That's one of the best
seen
golf
him go.
swings I've ever seen watching that kid play. I didn't realize how great a golf swing he has.
He's
Except
awesome.
for, like Owen. Very similar in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and if you look too at what Schauffele had done at the Open.
Yeah.
Some different things in there. I mean, it's easy, like you said, Bill, to be a Monday morning quarterback. But if you're a captain and you're assembling a team and the personalities and all that stuff, then you're the one who's going to have to manage those personalities in order for to succeed.
Maybe that's part of it too. Maybe Furyk didn't manage those personalities.
And they can't.
As well
They're
as
too big of personalities.
I had no idea about Reed and Spieth. I had no idea.
It's actually quite a feud becoming, and and Reed, if you guys Google Reed's comments about an hour after the loss, read what he said to the media. So, I can read the quote right now, but it's definitely, if you notice, they weren't playing near each other. They sat far from each other. The press room was very uncomfortable when they asked about the split, and even the captain had to kind of jump in so it didn't get off track. But, Mike, you mentioned the difference of the press conferences between Europe and America were too different.
Oh, my God.
And of course, it's easier when you're winning, of course. But it just felt like those guys were never in sync. Every time I turned on, they were in the water. And they knew the golf course. And Nikki mentioned it. They play the French Open there every year for forever. And if those guys wanted to go play it more, they could have.
Right.
Right. He even brought it up, and the captain said, "Oh well, some came over and they're playing. We had our practice rounds. These are the best players in the world on paper. They are on paper." But not for that golf course.
Not for that golf course.
No.
And they knew it too. And that rough looked like something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest looking grass. And
Wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
And they couldn't get out. Of course they couldn't get out. As they set that course up, the Europeans do it right. And so and their mold. You could feel their energy from this side of the pond. I felt the energy of that team. I did.
Well, they were in sync. Their team was totally together.
And if I could do it, and I told Dickie off thing, I would. If I was picking, I would, especially over there, I would have picked the best putters going on right now because it's all about making putts because you get on wrong. Right. And then someone who can really be accurate, like the Schauffele's and people that are not some big bomber. He went power versus accuracy, and he went legends.
Well,
he brought Phil in because it's going to be Phil's very last one. There's probably no question. Probably Tiger's as well.
Yeah.
So they brought in this stuff, and and they're supposed to be. They are legends. Those two guys are legends, man. Right. They really are. So it didn't meld very well. Tiger's. If you go on, and I won't because Nikki's a big fan, but on and on about it has effect on U.S. team in a negative way, and it has a positive effect on the European team. Having Tiger in the field.
Well, and here's another.
All want it.
Yeah, and here's another thing about those two is again if you're and Furyk, this is his last captaincy as well. So if he's making those two picks with Mickelson and Woods, taking those two picks, those guys have a record of 22-35 in the Ryder Cup.
It's not great.
Even though they're great individual players, they're not. They're not good. They're not good at a team thing. That's why I was saying, like with Mickelson, I got like why you would want him there, but make him a captain. Make him a
I would have rather had Zach Johnson than Mickelson.
No doubt. And that pick would have been amazing.
And I thought that would be a great.
And he's a elder spokesman. If you will, God, he's probably not 40 yet, but he is. So he would be a leader in the club, in the clubhouse. Versus,
well, you look at
Kuchar would have been good. Yeah. Kuchar doesn't bomb it, but he's such a team guy in the locker rooms. Yeah. I bet that's it though. You look at could not have been great.
You look at the U.S. roster, and you forget how young Jordan Spieth is. He is really, really young.
They're babies.
And Reed is
so is Justin Thomas
and Koepka. They're 23 or something like that.
But then you got Reed, and Reed has that history of being
the bad guy.
Well, I mean, like look at when he won the Masters. Have you ever seen anybody who won the Masters who so many people were disappointed?
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got all this together, and you're trying to create chemistry.
And his team members in college, he was one of the best college players, Reed, and none of his teammates liked him.
Right. Yeah.
He was an individual on his own team, and he won the NCAA.
Well, he kind of was
because of that. He did not have a team. He wasn't a team player in college, but he was a great college.
He was motivated by the fact that everyone was against him. That motivated him to go out and beat them.
As an individual.
As an individual.
Right.
That doesn't make a team player.
It doesn't. No. And it was funny, he was so great here in the Ryder Cup. Remember, he was Captain America,
what I mean.
and they set him down.
Yeah.
He said, why are you sitting me down? I was your motivator. Now he's mad because they set him down. And he was Captain America. Mm-hmm. So he's like shocked. Jordan and I did great. We won, right? And you're sitting me down. Now he's mad. And you can tell the way he took it out on the golf ball.
It is
right.
It is.
Yeah.
It is really weird when you think back to when the U.S. won, and then what happened with Reed. But what's not weird is what happened with Tiger and Phil. Like to me, that is like the record speaks for itself. the personalities speak for themselves. You know, and the game and the way that the game's formatted for the Ryder Cup speaks for itself. It doesn't change. Like that game is the Ryder Cup, and the format's been that way. So, like, if you're the captain, and again, I don't know Woods personally or Mickelson, but if you're Furyk, I bet you do, and you know the stuff that's going to go on behind the scenes, and the final part is you're going to Europe. You've gotten your butt handed to you many times,
6 straight times,
and if you really want to break something and you really want to break a streak, you gotta shake it up.
Do something different.
Yeah, you do. And it was weird to watch because, well, actually, by the time I got up, the morning matches were over, right? So
it's too bad because the morning matches were actually awesome.
When I came on, if we were up 3-1 or something, I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Then I looked at the board and we were getting killed 5-4 and 3-2.
That's an alternate shot. Yeah.
So then at the end of the day, what was it? It was 5-3. And then like, okay, and then the next day I saw then the individual thing. Just turned on the TV and went, whoa. You know, there's blue everywhere.
Well, when I went back and started watching, it was 10.5.
We lost 7 matches.
Yeah, it was 10.5 to 9.5.
Right,
Europe.
that's when I started watching.
And
wow, very cool.
And some of the commentators are going, "Oh, the USA's got a chance." And I'm looking at the rest of the board, and I'm looking at who's playing who. I'm like, "There's no way in hell.
There's no
way in hell that Mickelson is going to win that match."
Right.
With who he's playing against. There's no way. And I thought, well, maybe Fowler. I thought Fowler, and I like DeChambeau. I thought that makes sense. But
if neither one of those guys were playing good, and especially Phil, he was picked after he shot a 63 in the one tournament, second round of the playoffs or whatever, and then he played. He was last. He was last. So I didn't know if they could change the pick. And maybe he might have gone up to captain. Hey, maybe you can pick someone else. I'm not playing well because of course he admits it. I wasn't playing terrible. Ricky was a shock.
Yeah.
And Ricky wasn't playing good in the playoffs either, right? It maybe had one good round or something in the 4 days or 3 days of that playoff, the last ones. So it was interesting that going in, and DeChambeau, after the 2 wins, really started to struggle, right?
Yeah.
And so is the timing. I mean, they're beat up. Maybe they're just fatigued. That was the number one reason that they're giving the excuses, if you will, and it's in quotes, not excuses, but they thought the factors.
I think that's a big
fatigue was big because of all the golf they played in the playoffs, plus traveling and immediately starting. And a lot of them didn't want to play the practice round because they were so tired. They even said that.
But you know what that does?
I'm beat up here. I can't go out there.
Exactly.
You know what that does to personalities, though, too, with that situation.
When
you got
tired.
all those personalities, and the personalities come out more if you're exhausted.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better.
No, I agree.
The plus side, much better outfits.
Exactly.
Yes,
I thought I made that comment a number of times. Except for the striped pants.
I didn't see the striped pants. Was Reed wears them? Did they all wear the striped pants?
Yeah. The striped pants needed to go.
That must have been a morning one.
It was like pinstripes, weren't they?
Yes.
They were like gangster.
Oh, it was gangster.
Like old 1930s gangster pants.
It was so bad.
I didn't notice the striped
It was bad.
It's pretty interesting. We're gonna take our last break here. Listen to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Need to thank a couple more partners. Our own very own Nikki Anderson. She is a realtor.
La Flume, Fluent, Le Center.
You give Nikki a call to list your property. You got questions about real estate here on the Central Coast, or just questions in general, give her a shout. 805-235-3327. That's 805-235-3327. And their beautiful Maui vacation condo rental you can check out at vrbo.com. And the listing number 614-266. You can also visit golftalkradio.com and click on the picture of the Hawaiian golf course there, and that'll take you to Nikki's VRBO reservation. Also, Pass Robles Inn, 1-800-676-1713. Located in beautiful downtown Paso. Check out Central Coast Wine Tasting and make your reservations at Pass Robles Inn today, 1-800-676-1713.
Nikki, did you buy any property in France when you were over there?
I didn't. I didn't. But I texted Rick at some point and showed him a picture, and he goes, "Oh, are you buying property over there?" And I'm like, "Buying property over here? Are you crazy?"
Rick wasn't with you?
No, Rick was in Maui actually.
They're getting as far apart.
You probably can't get any further because you go any further, you're back together.
We were 12 hours apart.
That is so funny.
By jet.
No,
it's 3 months by sailing.
Time-wise.
Oh, on the clock.
On the clock.
So at midnight it was noon?
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. So not a lot of talking
But
going on
he comes home
either.
tomorrow.
Who'd you go with?
I went with my friend Katie
All
from
right,
New York.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Au revoir.
Okay,
revoir.
we'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.
À demain.